Hey everyone, so in today's basic guide series, we're taking a look at Spires of Ascension. The dungeon has a total of 4 bosses, and in this video we'll take a look at the tactics, the Covenant dungeon bonuses, and some of the notable trash mobs. Now with that being said, let's start off with Kintara. So, you wanna kill Kintara and her pet kinda at the same time. If you don't, one of them will enrage and gain an extra ability making the fight a bit tougher. You won't be able to tank the pet, but you need to dodge the barrage that it shoots out in random directions. On Mythic difficulty, Kintara and her pet will have a deep connection. This is a beam connecting the two, and if anyone intercepts the beam, they will get a debuff for 10 seconds. At 100% energy, the boss will cast a frontal cold overhead slash on the tank, so don't face the boss towards the group. Kintara will also apply Dark Cleanse to all nearby players, so you want to make sure to interrupt her cast to avoid the high taking damage that it does to everyone for 10 seconds. Now eventually the boss will fly up into the air and begin casting charged spears on random players. You want to move away from everyone else if you are targeted, because the spear will put down a pool on the ground that will last for the entire fight. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the first boss. Ventunax will cast Dog Stride and jump to random players, applying a nasty debuff that lasts for 20 seconds. Whenever she jumps to someone, she will leave a shadow roll on the ground as well. Now these black vortexes will shoot out dark balls in every direction that you need to avoid, and this is pretty much the main mechanic of the boss fight. Now if you do get hit by one of these, you will take damage and get knocked up into the air as well. At 100% energy, she will recharge for 10 seconds. While this is going on, all of the black vortexes will start shooting 9 bolts at the same time, so it's gonna get a bit messy. You wanna try to position yourself on the other side of the room so it's a bit easier to avoid. Now throughout the boss fight, she will also be casting a frontal cone, which is pretty easy to avoid. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the second boss. Oryphrion will stomp the tank and apply a debuff called Charged Anima to the tank and to anyone standing within 8 yards of the impact. This will reduce their movement speed by 30%, and on Mythic difficulty it will apply a 12-second debuff as well. Keep in mind that healers can and should dispel it. The boss will also target random players and cast Purifying Blast. The targeted player should move away from everyone else before the impact, because if anyone stands within 8 yards of the impact, they will take damage and get a 12-second debuff as well. Now, the most important ability that you have to watch out for is called Ordnance. This will target everyone with a blue arrow and put down a swirly on the ground. After a few seconds, the area will get covered by anima fields. So, you want to stack as much as possible when you get the blue arrows, and then immediately move away when you see the swirlies on the ground. Now when the boss runs out of energy, the second phase will start. During this phase, the boss will cast Rained and take 100% more damage as well. Now each pool of anima that you drop during the first phase will explode and turn into anima orbs that will move towards the boss. You want to soak these orbs to extend the second phase. Just be careful, because every time you soak one, they will explode and do damage to the entire group. On Mythic difficulty, soaking one of these orbs will leave a 10-second debuff as well. So yeah, someone with an immunity should soak the orbs, and don't forget to use defensives as well. But anyways, let's move on to the last boss. The last boss of this dungeon is Devos, Paragon of Doubt. The boss will cast Run Through, which is a charge that you need to avoid. She will also target a random player with lost confidence. This player will get a circle below their feet and spawn a pool of lingering doubt after 15 seconds. This can be dispelled, but just make sure the player has moved away from the group before you do so. Also avoid the pools that are left behind to avoid taking any damage. Devos will also cast Abyssal Detonation. This is a swirly that will explode and do damage to everyone standing inside of the circle. On Mythic difficulty it will do damage to everyone, so you want to make sure to stand inside of the big barrier to avoid the damage. Now at 17-30% health, the boss will fly up into the air and stage 2 will begin. The goal of this phase is to collect enough orbs and return them back to the spear. When you have gathered enough orbs, you'll be able to use the spear and throw it on the boss to get her down. Now during this phase you will notice strong winds trying to push you off the platform, and some circles that you have to avoid as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Pretty straightforward fight. Simply rinse and repeat the 2 phases until the boss is dead. But anyways, let's move on and recap the bosses. Kintara, kill the boss and the pet at the same time to avoid the enrage and interrupt Dark Cleanse. Ventunax, dodge all the black balls and don't get hit by the beam. Oryphrion, dispel the tank, drop the circles away from the boss and soak the orbs. Devos, move away if you're targeted by lost confidence and gather the blue orbs to activate the spear. But anyways, let's move on and look at the notable trash mobs. Okay, so the first notable trash mob is the Forsworn Warden. They will cast Great Amending, which is a heal that you need to interrupt. You also need to interrupt the Forsworn Goliath mobs who will be casting Rebellious Fist. Now after the first boss, you need to interrupt the champions and the menders who will be healing their friends with their Forsworn Doctrine. Last but not least, make sure to single target the squad leader, because his inspiring presence will cause mobs around him to take 75% less damage. So, if you're part of the Kyrian Covenant, you'll be able to interact with 2 dead Kyrians, one after the first boss and another one after the second boss. If you interact with them, you will receive a Spear of Destiny. You can use this spear to stun enemies and make them take 20% more damage for 10 seconds. And yeah, that's pretty much it guys. I hope you enjoyed this guide, and if you did, make sure to give it a like because it truly does help out. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time as well. Take care.